Here's an example of how we might use layers in real practice. So here we have a plan of a room, okay? We've got our structural columns, we've got our grid here, we've got our structural wall, and then we're also showing our desks, and we're also showing a reflected ceiling plan. Okay, so there's a lot of information, but that's typically how we do drawings in practice. So we've got one drawing of one plan and we're showing all the information on it. We don't have, like for a ground floor plan, we don't have multiple drawings of that ground floor plan. We just show everything on that ground floor plan. And that means if anything changes, say for example, the structural grid, we're not amending two drawings, we're just amending the one drawing and changing our ceiling layout and our desk layout to comply with that structural grid. Okay, so let's look at the layers here. So they're given kind of unusual, what appear like unusual names. So usually in CAD management systems, they'll have a prefix for A for architectural stuff, and then it might have a code for the type of thing it is, say 122 for all of our ceiling grid, and then 0100, that's at a scale of 1 to 100. And then this one here is the plasterwork. So you can see the plasterwork, and that's at 1 to 20, and that's not used. And then we've got our depth points, we've got our dim at 1 to 50, dim at 1 to 100, dim at 1 to 10, and then we've got F for our furniture layout, and then we've got S, this is the prefix for our structural grid. And then we've just got a layer called grid, okay? Normally your grid layer, you lock it at the very beginning because you're never going to need to change your grid, you hope. Okay, so let's see how that looks in a drawing. Okay, so if we go into a drawing here, we've got this drawing and it's called, if you look at it, it's called plan 1 to 50 reflected ceiling. If I go in here and I'll just turn off the grid, the Autocad drawing grid, just to show you a bit clearer how this is working. So in this drawing, we're only showing our ceiling grid. We're not showing our furniture, okay? And then we go to our 1 to 50 plan furniture. And again, I'll just turn off the Autocad helper grid. Now, our plan furniture, we're showing our ceiling grid. So how do we get rid of that? What we do is we go up to our grid here. So we've got grid, and we find the layer that we want to turn off. Okay, so we've got our ceiling grid, we want to turn that off. That ceiling grid is on A1220100, and we can use this command turn off in the current viewport. So we just click that and it goes away. And then we're left with just our desks and our dimensions. Now, the way we've done this is this dimension, 1 to 200, is obviously too big, so we can turn this off in this viewport as well. Okay, so that's done. And then that's our A1 drawing. This is our A3 reflected ceiling plan. So let's show you how to do that again. I'll just double click in my viewport, turn off my grid on Autocad just so I can see things a little bit easier. And this is a reflected ceiling plan, so that means I don't want my furniture in it. So I come down here, I've got my F150, that's my furniture layer, and I can just turn it off in this viewport. So that's not going to turn it off in model space. They're still on in model space, I can edit away. It's just turned off in the viewport. Now obviously I've got a thing where I've got these dimensions on. They're the right size in this viewport, but these ones here are way too small. So I'm just going to check what layer they're on. And that's 1 to 50. And so I'm going to turn those off in this layer, again using this freeze in current viewport.